Helen Lynch. I was diagnosed with tongue cancer December 2016 and was treated at Bradford and Leeds, St James's in Leeds. Had all my treatment in Leeds, but saw the cancer team back here in Bradford. I then went on the 31st of December to meet the oncologist, and that's when they gave me the full diagnosis. So there were 6 people in the room plus me and my husband, which was quite daunting, but all really lovely people and gave me lots of time. You know, we went over all sorts of other questions. There was a lot of information that they gave, which, you know, I appreciate the need to give you that information, but it is quite difficult to take on board. So that was my first diagnosis. It was a huge shock, even though I'd had the letter. The shock was the treatment. So it was 7 weeks of radiotherapy and 2 chemotherapy sessions. And they thought of maybe losing my hair. I didn't lose my hair. My chemotherapy caused my hair to thin. But, you know, things like that you worry about. And we'd got a holiday planned, a skiing holiday planned, which we cancelled. So all things like that, just life is suddenly interrupted.
Well, I'm Angela, and I had problems eating. That was my first sign. And it got worse and worse. And eventually I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And they took my treatment from there. Eventually I had a big operation, which involved removing some of the gullet and some of the stomach, cobbling it back together again, and I'm able to eat and drink again now. And I'm leading a completely normal life. It's always a shock when somebody tells you you've got cancer, because it never happens to you, does it? Always happens to someone else.
My name is Anne Najib. I had a heart attack last year, and on the x-ray they found that I had a lesion on my lung, and I had treatment in December, and I'm here now. Or they could talk to you or explain to you before you go in what's going to happen to you. And then you come out and after all the sessions you go ring this bell. But it's not over then. It is for them. But it's not over for us. You know, we have to come home and then we have to wait and wait and wait. And you're like, let me think, about 5 months, and then you go for a CAT scan to see if it's spread or if it's come up somewhere else. And then you're waiting again another 4 weeks before you see anybody to tell you it's worked or it hasn't worked. It's not easy.
My husband was with me and they addressed him as well. You know, they were talking to both of us. They weren't just talking to me.
It's always helpful to have my daughter with me because she's so supportive. And the day that I had the endoscopy, she'd come with me because I'd never had anything in that sort of way. But it did come as a shock to her when we were taken into the little room and I was informed that I had cancer. And it very much upset her, but not through anything that they'd done, just the knowledge that your mum has got cancer, because your mum lives forever in your mind as a daughter. It did upset her. She actually took it far worse than I did. Because I was in that position, I had to get on and do it. It's always harder for the people that you love that are they're there to support you, but it's hard for them to support you. So in one sense, I rather regret, in one sense, that she was upset, and so she was there. But by the same token, she was there for me all the way through, so I was grateful for that.
But, you know, as you would expect, they were very honest with me, and didn't tell me anything that wasn't what possibly was going to happen. So I appreciate that they're only telling you the true facts, but it's quite difficult to hear. They gave me a book which went through all the symptoms of the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy and all the side effects, and I started reading that book, and 2 or 3 pages in I just put it away. That wasn't for me. I didn't want to see that information. But some people will need to see it written down. For me, that's not what I wanted to see. If they'd have asked me at the time, do you want to know the side effects? I don't know whether I would or not. When I started getting side effects, I didn't want to know any more. But maybe before, you do need to know, because, you know, you possibly do need to prepare for what's coming. When I was in the thick of it, I really didn't want to know, because it was quite difficult to cope with. So I'm not saying what they told me was wrong, because I think I possibly did need to know it, but I found it very difficult to hear.
And it's the communication. I would say the most important thing between patient and staff is communication. You do need to know every step of the way what they're doing, why they're doing it, when they're going to do it, as near as you can. So as much information as possible, always. And straight information. I think most of us as patients tell us straight.
Somebody being there to say to you, it's all right, love, you know, you're going to be okay, and you're going to go in here and it's not going to hurt. And sometimes we're late and sometimes we're not. Just somebody there to tell you what's going on.
Is, if possible, to take those couple of minutes to just digest what the patient is actually trying to say. If I had a question or anything, they were always there. And I think that's important, that if you're confused about anything or upset about anything, that you can ask at the time that you are feeling that way. Maybe an hour later or 3 days later, you're not feeling that anyway, but at the time that you need it, then you need somebody there. That's the one thing I would say. Because to us, we're the only patient. We've got cancer, we're here in our bed. Where the person that you're dealing with, they might have 30 or 40 people that day, all to see with all problems, at least as bad as yours, and in some cases a lot worse.
And it was quite timely. It was only a matter of days after. So I think that was set at the right time. Just gave you a little bit of time to come to terms with what you've heard, and then, you know, back to meet people to be able to ask questions and learn more. So I thought that worked really well, and I thought that was quite important that is, you know, at a fairly short time after that initial appointment.
And with a few things, I've had to ring them up and say, I'm worried about this, or my daughter rung them up once because she didn't believe what I was telling her. You know, I don't tell them everything. And they were really, really good with her. And she said, I can ring them any time, Mum. And I said, yeah, they're there. Put your mother in that state and you're telling your mother what you've got. You know, you treat us with a bit of, not respect, but friendliness, and make us feel comfortable, not just cold and next one please, you know. We have a life. It's like I've said, we're somebody's mother, sister, nana. We're not just a number. We have feelings. You know, you're at a loose end, you don't know which way to turn and who to ask. And
it was really nice that, you know, on both occasions there was lots of time given, and there was no sense of rush at all. I didn't feel I was under any pressure for time, which was good. I mean, I remember the oncologist sat right next to me and, was holding my arm, which was very, very caring and, showing concern, because I was really stressed by it all. And they were just all so lovely. And, I didn't feel like I was one of many. I felt like I was the only one they were dealing with. They very much treated me like that. They were really lovely with me, really lovely.